Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and yes, I've finally done it. Finally reached the point where I can upload my comic book review video, which this week will be the last of 2014. I'm taking Christmas and New Year off and we're going to start all afresh in the new year. It hasn't been for the want of me being lazy. I have made sure that all my comic book Christmas calendar videos are done, scheduled to go out right up until Christmas Day. For those of you who have been asking if I'm doing one, yes, you will see a Boxing Up 2014 video before the year is out. I think I've scheduled it to come out on the weekend just before the new year starts. It's a long one, but it was enjoyable to do. Before I do start on my thoughts and opinions of my pull list this week, I just want to obviously wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's just been a great year here on the YouTube comic book community. I'd like to think that if I wasn't getting as many views as I am, I would still be doing this. But at the same time, I just appreciate and want to thank you all for coming back week in, week out, watching all my videos. It certainly spurs me on to make more of these crazy YouTube videos that I put up each and every week. So thank you to each and every one of you. We've had some new faces this year. It's great to further build on this community we have here, and everyone is welcome to join in the fun of our passion for comics. This week in comics I think it was about 10 issues to get through, so I think we better get started. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this in one take. No editing, cutting, no nonsense. So I'm kicking off with Marvel's Guardians 3000 from issue 3, and it's another fun kind of space romp. We have our team crash landed on a planet and the team has been separated. This issue focuses on Gina, Yondu and Charlie, who are being surrounded by a kind of mashup, I guess, of the Iron Man suit and kind of the X-Men's villain Sentinels. And they are fighting off against those. We have a kind of side note of some young woman almost, I guess, stranded, drifted in space with the notion of a Nova helmet in tow. And then we get Star-Lord throwing himself into the mix. I don't quite know what to think of that. It was, and Gina says it herself, that it's quite appropriate that he just drops in, kind of saves the day right at the end. But it just feels like, I mean, I know it's a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of future versions, but it just seems to me that if Marvel have a chance to throw in Star-Lord and reference Guardians of the Galaxy, given the huge popularity of the film, they will do it. The artwork is decidedly comic booky. There are some facial bits that were a bit odd, certainly in Star-Lord when he came crashing in. But apart from that, it's just a big fun read, and it was enjoyable. It's still not enough to put on my pull list. If issue 4 is not there on the shelf next month, I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't pick it up. On to our weekly look at Batman Eternal issue 37, and it feels decidedly like a fresh new story arc. Volume 3 in trade, anyone? This is your starter. This focuses on Selina Kyle, Catwoman, and she's been a busy old girl. She's managed to get together a lot of the gangs under kind of one umbrella, so to speak. We already have her running the Egyptian nightclub, which we saw in the middle of Snyder's 0 year in Batman, when we saw that kind of look ahead to Batman Eternal. I don't think we're quite up to there yet, as we see her battling against other gangs that haven't actually come on board with her being this crime lord. We have the side stories of our freshly escaped rogues gallery of Bat villains hiding out in a disused diner, trying to get together as a kind of supervillain team to take down Batman. You know that isn't gonna go well. Whenever you get a number of Bat villains together, there's no way they are going to be able to work together as a team. They've always got their own agendas, their own secret plans, and wanting just themselves to take down Batman. So you know that's not going to go well, and it doesn't help the fact that Selina Kyle has sent Kitty Cam, I guess you'd call them, to go and spy on them and give this information on to Batman. There's another really strange storyline going on here as we kind of go back to Batwing in his kind of civilian form, just kind of not necessarily chilling out, but he's there in his apartment with his roommate, and his roommate is starting to see ghosts. Now, whether this is some residual effect from Batwing's visit to Arkham Asylum before it crumbled into the ground, it's not really explained. How that is going to tie into the whole Batman Eternal, everything going crazy into pot, I'm not sure. It was a very strange issue. We left off last week with Batman, you know, scratching his head, wanting to know who's behind all this. Snyder throwing in the Riddler at the end of the issue as a potential major puppeteer of all the shenanigans that are going on in Gotham at the moment. And that just kind of got forgotten about, and Batman seems to be going on to something entirely different instead of focusing on the main deal here. It was okay. I enjoyed it as a kind of fresh start, a new storyline, a new kind of story arc for Batman Eternal. Moving on to an Image title, Alex and Ada, and we're moving on, I believe, to the final story arc of this. I guess you'd call it now a maxi series, because this clearly has a finite ending for Luna and Sarah Vaughan. And for all those who felt a little uncomfortable about the kind of flesh on robot action that was going on last issue, it certainly is addressed to some degree here in this issue, as Alex takes Ada to a party. Not the greatest idea, given one, your ex-girlfriend is there, and two, Ada's already kind of struggling to hide her now sentient lifestyle. And you know, Alex's ex-girlfriend clearly can't understand why everyone is so concerned with Ada when she is, in all intents and purposes, a robot. Why are we having feelings towards her? Why are we worried if she's upset or not being involved in the party? It all gets incredibly awkward. It's all, again, very character driven, and I love this issue. And there is an interesting twist at the end of this issue where someone may have discovered Ada's sentience. Moving on to another Image title, we have Goners issue 3, and this monster movie title just pushes some buttons for me, and I love it. It's such a fun issue and title to read. Here in this issue we see the evil that has been stalking the Latimers goes way back, and we get a little kind of sneaky peek into the history of this evil, going back as far as when was it, 1836 and the Alamo, but most of this issue is based on the children of this title, where they are having to confront yet another type of monster. Only this time it's the reporters, the press, the paparazzi, as they just made their daring escape from the building in last issue, leaping out of a window into a nearby, conveniently placed, I have to say, fountain. There is a kind of timely stranger who manages to kind of have this ability to stop time, allowing our children to escape the hordes of reporters. They go off making the decision to go back home to, I guess, find more clues, decide what they're going to do next. Along the way, they crash, and we get these little snippets about their kind of, I want to call him a kind of butler, but at the moment he's acting like their kind of protector, and there is some sort of magical element here that he has been created rather than he's a real person. I'm hoping they kind of expound on that a little bit more and explain that, but he certainly is some tough cookie, being able to brush off gunfire, bullets. Is he Superman? No, of course he's not. It's just a fun, exciting read, and then at the end you wonder if the creators of this title have already decided to kill off one of their main characters. I don't know, I don't think they do that straight away, but if they have, my god, it's a harsh ending. It's a new week, it's Image, they've got another #1, it is a Rumble, and I have to say I don't really know what to think about this. I read it over a couple of times and still didn't get a great deal out of my second reading of it. It felt very kind of cliched, unassuming man gets thrown into weird and wacky scenarios. It's nothing that I've really not seen before. I kind of dig the almost kind of anime manga style of it, but I'm talking about the old school anime in the kind of Lupin the Third vein. But there's nothing much happens here. There's demons knocking around. There's a weird guy that could potentially be made of straw with a huge sword, who might be bad, he might be good. There just wasn't enough here to kind of like go, wow, that was really good and amazing, and I want to pick up issue 2. However, I probably will try issue 2 because I just need to know if the creators of this book will reveal something more that will then grab me. Unfortunately, this wasn't the issue. However, the artwork by James Harron and the colours by Dave Stewart on this are gorgeous. It's a very nice looking book. It's just the storyline that kind of dips. On to a couple of DC titles now. It's Batman, it's Endgame Part 3. There's a new strain of the Joker gas, one that has no antidote, or not one yet that Batman can find, so he's off to a hospital to take a sample of the patient 0 to try and make some sort of antidote, and you have him trying to get through the whole of Gotham that has been affected by this new Joker gas. And then it starts getting very confusing. He makes it to the hospital, and I don't know whether it's the kind of after effects of when he confronted Joker in the last issue, but I don't know if he's hallucinating or if Joker has set up this big scenario that kind of reflects Bruce's parents dying. You obviously get the feeling, and clearly by the end of this issue you know this to be true, that Joker knows who Batman really is. So I was kind of confused towards the end of it. It all looks great as usual. Greg Capullo and Mickey on the colours doing an outstanding job. I know this is comic books, but you would have thought that, you know, the Joker having captured Batman in the last issue would have just put an end to him then, and we would have had none of this nonsense. Of course, it's comic books, that's not going to happen, but you know, for all those out there who want their comic book characters to be believable, this wasn't believable. The most interesting part, I guess, of Batman is the idea that Snyder's putting forward that the Joker could potentially be immortal. As James Gordon is doing some research on this hospital, he's going through old photographs, and somewhere, whether in the background or a kind of blurred image at the side, you see the Joker's face, and we're going back decades, hundreds of years. So it's interesting to have this juxtaposition of Joker being almost godlike and comparing it to Batman and Bruce's almost human frailty here. It's an interesting twist to the whole Batman-Joker mythology, which is the thing that's making me most interested in this Endgame story arc. We move on to Grant Morrison's next issue in his Multiversity series, which is Thunderworld, the new Thunderworld adventures. And this issue is certainly way more accessible to the comic book reader than past issues. This really is kind of a straight up superhero against the villain storyline. It has the Grant Morrison touches, it has the kind of rich Shazam history, as this book is all about the Shazam family, and they're going up against Dr. Sivana and the multitude of multiversity versions of him. They have all got together to steal a day. It all gets very scientific and mumbo-jumbo-y, as you would expect from Grant Morrison, but they've stolen a day where they have the opportunity to kill Shazam and finally take over not just this world, but all the other Earths within the 52 multiversity. So we get Sivana's kind of evil counterparts to the Shazam family. So you have the Sivana family, and they use Sivana's name to change, which is fun. He himself turns into Black Sivana, obviously the evil counterpart. Well, Black Adam's quite evil himself, but that counterpart to the Shazam family. And you get... So you basically get loads of time travel. There's this whole evil Sivana family. You've got the Monster Society in there. It's just a really fun, thrilling superhero story. And that's kind of what I wanted. A little breather from the kind of overcomplicated, overconvoluted, but nevertheless interesting storylines that he's done with the other issues. Again, I'm kind of still irked by Grant Morrison's use of the comic book. The fact that all these universes have comic books based on the other Earths. And it gets to the point now that Dr. Sivana has one of Grant Morrison's own Multiversity series comics in his hand, and what he used, I guess, to sort out these other Dr. Sivanas, to get them all to help him. But it was fantastic. Cameron Stewart's artwork on this is brilliant. I just had a really fun time reading the Multiversity for a change. Not so accessible a read. We've got the Sandman Overture number 4. Hallelujah, we've got another issue. It's not an easy read, let me tell you this straight. We have Morpheus meeting his father. I mean, who knew he had a father? It's something that wasn't really ever addressed or picked up in the main series that came out pre this. That, you know, where did the Endless come from? Were they indeed fathered, mothered from beings above them. So who is this father? Is it, I don't know, is it God, Father Time has been thrown around? Who knows? It's not really explained very well. Maybe sometime down the line this might get explained a little bit more. Probably think not. We just have to basically go with the flow here with Neil Gaiman. But it's clear that he's had this idea for however many years before Sandman was just starting out. So I like the idea that he is addressing the fact of, like, the Endless didn't just appear, they came themselves from somewhere else. Sandman has reached this city of stars, and he has confronted this mad star whose master plan is to have the demise of the universe. And you can tell that these stars are incredibly powerful when even the Sandman is afraid of them. And by the end of this issue, the mad star traps the Sandman in a dark star. He doesn't kill him, he just traps him. The artwork by J.H. Williams, it is wonderfully compelling, it really is, but at the same time it's confusing, and as you would expect from J.H. Williams, it's clearly non-linear, but there is so much going on in the pages, and this book takes so long to digest and to just see everything, you know, peeling back each page, every layer on the panels, that at times it just gets far too confusing. There's way too much on the page, but at the same time it's just a joy to look at. The art styles change from kind of pages to pages, which may not help, but it's clear to see Williams is a genius at his craft, and I'm obviously going to read the rest of this series whenever it will eventually come out, but it was a tough read. It's one of those titles that I think you have to, because of the gaps between each issue, you have to then go back and reread the last issues again just to get up to speed with this one. Penultimate issue of the week, it's Fables issue 147, and you would think with only 3 more issues to go that Bill Willingham would not be ready to throw more new stuff at us, that he'd want to start wrapping things up, but oh no! Willingham still is introducing more ideas to his Fable universe, and here we have the kind of secret story of Rose Red and Snow White and her mother, and it is deadly. We see in this issue Rose Red's potential for huge amount of power, and she has a decision to make, and it's just which way is she going to go. Absolutely fantastic storytelling by Bill Willingham. He is a master of storytelling craft. I'm a huge fan. I'm not going to say anything different, am I? The side plot to this, we have the Cad Brandish and our knight in shining armour, Lancelot, dueling. And that turns an interesting twist, which almost leads to the farcical, but Bill Willingham just manages to drag it in and keep it, you know, tight. Just love this issue, just love this title. So finally, the pick of the week, it was Scott Snyder's, which is issue 3, another outstanding issue of this horror title. As far as horror comics go, this really is the one you don't want to be taking to bed with you as like a bedtime story. The search for Sailor is on, but strange things are afoot. The dad character is or seemingly hallucinating, and this is where we go back and find out what happened between his mystery assailant that attacked him in the house from last issue. And you have to wonder if she's there to help, or if she's there to hinder the dad's progress, as she explains that the daughter Sailor has been pledged, we guess, to the witches, and that there will be a point in your life where whoever it may be is basically going to slip you a Mickey and make you forget that you ever had a daughter, so that the witches can take her in. And so she seems to inject him with something. It's a horrifying set of panels. Jock and Hollingsworth are doing a fantastic job in nurturing this creepy and terrifying vibe that runs throughout the issue. But it's just an amazing horror comic. We haven't had one like this for a long time, and I'm just lapping this up. It's been a huge hit, as well it should have. I thoroughly recommend you pick up Witches. If you can find the first 2 issues, it's probably got into 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th probably printings, but just grab yourself a copy and just terrify yourself as you read your comics. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end, well done. If you are new here, there are some more videos to come before the year is out, so hit the subscribe button so you don't miss them. Give me a big thumbs up for this video, and in the comment sections below, tell me what you thought of the issues I spoke about this week, and anything else that you picked up that you thought was good. Let me know. So until 2015, when I will see you again, cheers and have a good Christmas. Goodbye. Single malt whiskey, Highland Park.